This is Andrew with Joda Home Inspection. We're doing a sewer scope today here in South Ogden. We're at 4844 Burch Creek Hollow. We have the camera pushed out 134 feet. Now we're going to pull it back and record it and see what we find. So we did make it all the way to the city connection, which is great. This was a tough one to get out to. I had to run a lot of water. And you'll notice there's still some water draining. But that helped push my camera head along so that I could make it all the way out to the city line. So running water is okay. What you don't want to see is standing water where it starts to cover my camera head. And so that's something that I'm watching for as I pull it back. I do know that before I even started running water, there were some spots that had standing water under the slab, and so we'll talk about that as we get to it, so that's not ideal. I'm going to go slow so that eventually this water will stop draining. Already I noticed that I'm pulling a lot of debris back on my camera reel, and that can be related to the bad grade under the slab. And so as waste gets stuck in that line, in those bellies, it's now getting pulled back on my camera reel. That's usually a good sign that there's a belly, and I'm already seeing that. PVC pipe. This is what they use on most new construction. Similar. Now they use SCR, it's a different type of plastic, but it's performed in a similar way. So far, it looks like mostly running water. It doesn't look like you have really any bellies so far. This line's a little on the longer side. Average length of a line that I see is around 100 feet. And so this one's a little bit longer than what's average, but pretty long driveway. You're a little higher up, a little further from the street. And so that explains why it's a little longer than what I typically see. I'm going to let that mellow there for a minute. Looks like a little bit of a flat spot right there. And that's just a small example. We're going to see more as we come back. That's a drop on the line, so water's just hitting my camera head from above. But once we round that corner again, it's going to stop. There's the sewer access point right there. You can see that opening on the top of the pipe. That's another spot where the sewer could be accessed, usually outside, usually right outside the foundation. I didn't see it, but there were some bushes. It could be under the bushes. Sometimes they're cut off and buried, so it might be the kind of thing that you don't have immediate access to without having it located. But now we're coming back through some ABS. This is a different type of plastic. This is what's in the house and under the slab. One issue with ABS is that sometimes the glue joints have a tendency to crack, and you can get small leaks that develop. You have a little bit of ABS exposed here, And these ones look dry, which is good, but we can't see where it's concealed in the walls. But always a good sign when the ones that you can see are holding up well. So this is where I noticed some standing water. We're about 30 feet out. This is under the basement slab, and this is no longer running water. Everything's done draining, and so this is an actual belly or bad grade. And so waste can build up in there and create a blockage where it can potentially back up. You can see as it splashes around, there's kind of buildup of grease and soap scum, waste, and that kind of creates a sticky spot where bigger pieces of waste could also get stuck. Here's another one here. Kind of see a little smaller pieces of garbage swirling around. So it's not ideal. The only way to really fix bad grade is to dig it up and re-slope it, which when it's under the basement slab, that's one of the hardest spots to get to. I mentioned I was pulling back a lot of waste on my camera head, and I've now got it pulled all the way back, and this one is pretty dirty. I would say it's, for whatever reason, right next to this access point, it's holding a lot of waste. And this is an unused line, so this is a spot that would be used in the future if you were to add a toilet. It's stubbed up in this unfinished area. But just to recap, I got all the way out to the city connection. You have plastic lines going all the way out. You have a mix of PVC and ABS pipe. You did have a couple bellies underneath the basement slab. Not ideal. I would ask the seller if it's ever been an issue with them where they have ever had a backup. That can give you some insight, but people use their lines in different ways. And so as you use a line and you put different weights down it, you have different people using it, different people using different bathrooms, it affects how the line will perform. And so just because one person hasn't had an issue in X amount of years doesn't mean that you wouldn't, or that you would be able to go that same amount of time and not have an issue. So I'm going to end this recording now.